What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel for another video. If you're just getting here, please get down there, hit that like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. The channel's been growing good. We've been doing very well over here, and I hope you guys have a lot of good information that you can find on the channel. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about and break down compounding problems when training or hunting coon dogs and all that kind of thing. So stay tuned. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the compounding issues that we can get and some of the compounding issues that arise when we go ahead and start training around on a dog. Now, number one, a compounding issue is going to be an issue that off-sprouts more issues, and then we compound those, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows until we have just a big giant ball of a problem, and it is so big that it's hard to figure out and it's hard to plan ourselves and really think and address the issues that would be the right steps to go ahead and take. And there's two things that kind of cause this. Okay, so number one, and I'm very, very guilty of this. I'll be the first to admit that I am 100% guilty of it, and I think a lot of us are at some point in time. But when we put severe pressure on a dog to perform a job, but not only that, it's to put severe pressure on a dog to perform its job before it is 100% sure that that is the job that you actually want it to go ahead and do, right? So a lot of green dogs, a lot of young dogs, and it is very, very easy and it's very, very hard to stay away from this and stay away from this kind of thing happening. Because for number one, these are young dogs, right? Some dogs, now very few far in between dogs, or, you know, your typical well dogs, good dogs, dogs that are well-to-do bloodlines and things like that, or very proven dogs that come from very proven lines of dogs, won't have these problems so much. But when we go ahead and we put that dog out there, they don't click it all the way, right? They're missing a couple notches in the click, you know what I mean? They just got a couple things that they're missing before they get the full picture and go, oh, it's fully explained to me now, I fully understand it, I need to do this and do this and do this, and then I'll get rewarded, right? So when we put severe pressure on a dog to perform that isn't fully aware of what it's supposed to perform yet, it is very kind of easy to throw them off and throw a lot of sticks in the tire when we're talking about hunting these dogs and doing this kind of thing. Now, for the most part, the way that I kind of tell you guys to do it here on the channel is we try to stay away from putting a stick in our own tire, right? So it is very easy to get a dog to tree its first coon and then go, he's going to tree another one and just hunt him and hunt him and hunt him and hunt him and hunt him. And the reality of the situation is a lot of dogs, if they are not one of them dogs that just click it really fast, you're going to be waiting on them a long time before they tree another coon. Or you're going to be going sporadic spurts of hunting, and they're going to be trash running, they're going to be messing around, they're going to be treeing a coon here or there, and then they're back to maybe back-to-back coons, something like that. But for the most part, we're talking about young dogs, and we're talking about dogs that are just starting out, maybe just treeing the first handful of coons or something like that. We need to keep them in woods that are loaded up with coons. We need to keep them in woods that are relatively low on trash. We need to keep them in running conditions that are good, easy running conditions, and we need to apply even, smooth, gradual pressure, because this is the way that we don't cause the dog to crack, we don't cause the dog to fray, because a lot of dogs will do that, and along with the pressure comes the reprimanding, and comes the bad attitudes, and comes the scoldings, and comes all that. And if you take a dog that is about halfway clicked and you're up here with your temperature and you start scolding on that dog, you're on clicking it. You're scolding that dog, you're on clicking it. You're having an attitude with that dog, you're on clicking it. You're shocking on that dog, you're on clicking it. You're on clicking it. Every single time that we're doing this and raising our temperature, the dog is going backwards because it hasn't reached a level to go, if he's getting up here, I got to pick it up, right? He's going, oh no, oh no, oh no, right? So that's what he's doing. And a lot of dogs will be this way, especially at that younger stage, under, 2 years old, I would say. I've had a lot of dogs that act this way, especially when I've been that high temperature dude that is just really just no nonsense. I don't want my dog fooling around and being kind of a hard nose when it comes down to what and when the dog is supposed to be doing what and where and what tracks and what this and what that. When I've been being this micromanager, nitty gritty person, my dog suffers for it. Even if we're not overly correcting, even if we're not like overly being mean to the dog or anything like that, but if we are intervening and micromanaging onto a dog that is unaware of its job, it causes a lot of issues to arise, right? And they know there's pressure there to do something, right? They feel the pressure, they feel the heat, they feel like, oh my God, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I just gotta do it. And they don't know what to do. So they go do this and they go do that and they go do this and they go do that and they act this way and they act that way and they try this and they try that and they try this. And when we do get them all combobbled like that, what happens is our temperature keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And once we get up here, there's no praises for the dog. There's no good times for the dog. There's no, teaching moments for that dog. There is none of that when that happens, right? So if we have raised our temperature up and the dog is starting to act all discombobulated and doing all this wacky stuff all the time, our temperature is most definitely putting severe pressure on that dog and causing it to just crack and crumble, right? So we need to revert our attitude and revert our thinking, slow it down, bring the temperature down, bring the pressure down, and let them simmer, right? Bring them down to a simmer and lower our expectations down, right? One thing that I'm very guilty of, and I know that a lot of you are guilty of this as well, and that is, oh, he just treed 2 back-to-back. This he's money. He's going to go tree 100,000 of them for me. I'm never going to have to worry about this dog again. He's done. He's processed, fixed, He's a coon dog now. The reality of the situation is coon dogs aren't coon dogs until they're coon dogs, and coon dogs don't make it to be coon dogs until they make it to be coon dogs. There's no set time. There's no set amount of trees. There's no set amount of hunting that will ever be able to go, he's a coon dog, right? We have about a 80% dial on those kind of things. If you put a dog in the woods, even if night after night after night, even for 2, 3, 4 years at a time, you're going, this dog is a coon dog, this dog is a coon dog, this dog is a coon dog. They will still could possibly pop up with running a deer, still could possibly pop up with getting into a porcupine, treeing a possum, doing whatever, disobeying you, getting in, just causing a big fit, right? We can cause them to have these kind of fits. And you think that the dog is acting up, you think that the dog is being weird, you think that the dog ain't running right, when in reality it might be us that is being the weird one, being the one that ain't acting right or doing things the right way. Now, one thing that I was talking about was we can have, I think I mentioned this on the channel before, if we have nothing but bad going on, right? So the dog isn't receiving any praise, right? Even if it does something good, we're so upset with the dog, it's still not even getting praised like it should be getting praised. Maybe it's just like, it's just like, here's a little bit. But I'm still upset at you because you ran like junk the last tree, right? So if we're doing that kind of behavior, we need to be 100% behind our dog for the good times, and we need to be not behind our dog for the bad times. And what I mean by that is it's okay to be upset when the bad things happen, but we need to turn that right around and give them the other side of the switch of, this is a good thing, you're getting praised, you're getting petted, you're going to get the way that you need to be gotten, right? And one thing that we have that will happen is these dogs will get so worked up and they'll get so cooked into the idea of, I gotta do it, right? That they will frantically be after whatever it is that they're supposed to be after. And if they tree something, they're gonna be savages on the tree. They're gonna be like, I finally did it. Yeah, I finally got it, right? I finally did what I'm supposed to do, man, right? And he's got all this pressure on me. I've went out here, I've worked it so hard. And a lot of these young dogs, even a medium difficulty, we'll call it a medium difficulty coon, will give them a run for their money, and they'll probably lose it a lot of the times. And that's one thing that people don't even get is I've got a couple people message me here, and I've talked to a few people, and I know this to be a case of a lot of guys, is they'll be like, my dog's junk, my dog's junk, my dog's junk, my dog's junk. Well, what is he doing? He's doing this, 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 and this, and this. Well, it doesn't sound like your dog's junk. It sounds like the coons are smarter than your dog is right now, right? So we have a line that we need to draw, and then when we get into a situation or we get into a predicament to where the coons are getting smarter than our dog, or we're getting onto coon that are giving our dog a way too hard of a run for their money, we need to just kind of find a different coon to treat, right? We need to just kind of go to a different patch, go to a different area, put pressure on some new woods, change it up a little bit, change the dynamic, change what's out there on the property that we're hunting. If we just been hunting corn and hunting corn and hunting corn and hunting corn, and then our dog starts fraying, our dog starts cracking, and it starts having these issues, then what we need to do is, okay, well, we're gonna quit hunting the corn now. Let's go hunt the river. Let's go hunt the tree line. Let's go hunt the other field that doesn't have corn on it, right? So when we get all these things kind of meshed in together, it's all compounding issues. So if we throw a dog in a situation to where we're just throwing it, let's just bean field, okay? That's just a random grab, right? So if we're throwing a dog in a bean field, throwing it in a bean field, throwing it in a bean field, throwing it in a bean field, number one, we got to be smart enough to know that on that bean field, there's definitely trash on that bean field. Okay, we are without a doubt putting our dog in a situation to bump trash. Without a doubt, right? The deer's been out there, the possum's been through there, anything and everything has been out there in that bean field eating whatever. So when we're dumping dogs onto corn or we're dumping dogs onto bean fields, the trash is absolutely without a doubt there, or it has been there, right? So we are taking a young dog and we're dumping it into a trash filled area, number one, okay? So that's going to create an issue, right? So we have a plentiful of all animals, not just coon, right? So we have a plenty of possums and rabbits and skunks and the whole 9 yards, anything you guys can think of. So we're dumping them, these young dogs, in these bean fields filled with trash or these cornfields filled with trash, and they start running trash. We're taking it on the dog. Like, why are you dumping them where the trash is at? Take them somewhere where it's kind of isolated off, and you know that the population of coon is thick, and they got a lot of them, and there's abundance of them, and put them in those woods. And then if he bumps trash in those woods, then it's a dog problem, right? But it's kind of like one of those things, man. Is can you be mad at your dog if you cast him on deer and he runs them? Yeah, to a degree, but you created that situation, and I some of this stuff is just kind of outside the bubble, outside of the norm of thinking when it comes down to this stuff. But we've created a compound issue, right? We cut him in the bean field where the trash is at. He bumps trash. We scold him for trash. He acts funny because he bumped trash. Then he runs funny. Then we're mad at him for running funny. And then we do this, and then we do that, and then we do this. And then we got this big great ball of dog that is junk, and we don't like it, and we don't want it, and we hate it, and we want to get rid of it. And we're sick of waiting on it to straighten up and do all these things. It's a compounding issue that we created, and all we really have to do is go, let's not put him where the trash is at anymore. Put him over here where there's no trash, and we'll see how he acts over there. And then we'll address the first problem that comes up. And a lot of this is misplacing when and where to address which thing to get the ball straightened right back around. Now, first things first that we should all be aware of is if we're applying heavy pressure on a dog, we are taking a young dog that has treed some coons and it's doing pretty good and it's looking good, and we start slamming it in the woods every night, and we start recutting it and recutting it and recutting it and slamming it in the woods and recutting it and recutting it and slamming it in the woods. And that dog starts running trash, and that dog starts bumping deer, and that dog starts chewing on porcupines and chewing on whatever, running off, digging holes, biting trees, acting crazy, not listening, not minding, not coming back, just starts doing all this mess. The best thing that we can do is apply the pressure, because we've applied that pressure to a level where that dog cannot handle. And good dogs that are going for a very long time, good dogs that are very well seasoned, if you apply too much pressure to them, they'll do the same exact thing, right? We can cause a dog to break down. And what we can do as handlers, what we can do as hunters, is we can cause a dog to be averted off of even treeing coons, averted off a coon altogether by putting it into a situation to where it's always a negative thing. And the dog just goes, I don't want that. I do not want to run that anymore. because it's always, oh, I'm getting it for slicks. I'm getting it for being one tree over. I'm getting it for whatever, not treeing up fast enough, not running the track fast enough. All I'm doing every single time that I get onto this scent is causing myself problems. So then they will just go, well, I'm not going to run that. And then you get to the tree and you try to get them on the tree and they won't get on the tree. And then it's like, well, now it's compounded because now the dog's getting even more worse off for not getting on the tree, and you're just cranking yourself up, right? So we need to bring this down here. And number one, well, I've said this on the channel forever. I don't care if I put a world champion dog in the woods. Not that I've ever been in the woods with a world champion dog, but if I put a world champion dog in the woods and it slick treed, I wouldn't care. I would not care for 2 seconds. If it ran a deer, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't be surprised, right? It doesn't matter if they're registered. It doesn't matter if they're world champions. A dog is a dog, and a dog is going to do dog things, and you cannot help that, especially when we've turned them loose out there into the world to do whatever they want to do. But we have to make sure that they want to do what we want them to do. And how we do that is positive association. So we have to reinforce. We have to do the good things. We have to make a good relationship with the dog and a good association with the dog and treeing coon. Okay, so one big issue that a lot of guys will run into, especially when we're going into not shooting coons down for a dog. This is where a lot of dogs would just go, no. You think that I'm going to go put in all that work and tree something and you're not going to give me a pet? You're not going to shoot it down for me? You're not going to give me a treat? You're not going to do nothing? And matter of fact, you're probably going to whip me half the time if I'm slick, right? The dog don't want to do that, man. So we can rise above this kind of idea. If a dog trees something, it needs to be rewarded. A pet, a treat, a coon coming down, a ball, whatever. It has to have some type of reward to know that to mark achievement, right? We have to mark that achievement to keep that place marker there. And a lot of guys will do this. They will stone cold just go from, well, he treed 15 in a row, shot him down 15 in a row. My light just died, but treed 15 in a row. And then we all of a sudden just quit. We quit bringing coon down to him. We quit letting him have any piece of the coon. We keep tying him back at the tree, letting the other dogs have a piece. And the dog is just going, no way. There's no way this is happening to me. There's no way that this guy has done this to me. I worked so hard for that. I did exactly what he wanted me to do. I did it the way that he wanted me to do it. But now he won't get that down for me. Now he won't pet me. Now he won't praise me. Now he won't give me a treat. And some dogs that are smart enough will look at you and start building a disdain for you. And a disdain for you not rewarding them, right? And female dogs, I have found most likely they're smart enough to understand a reward size, right? So they're smart enough to comprehend that the coon is a better reward than a treat. They're smart enough to comprehend that a pet is a treat is a better reward than a pet. So when you go from a coon to a treat to a pet, they're not happy in these transitions, right? I've seen that so many times. I think the female dogs run a lot smarter than the male dogs, or they have a lot more sense about them when it comes down to being more people tuned. And I think that has a lot to do with just being a male-female dynamic between handler and dog, because in general, across all dog breeds, males own females because they domesticated house pet animals recommended that the males don't own males because the males will always try to challenge the male and give them a hard time, but they'll submit to the female because they like the female. And then the vice versa with the males and a male owning a female dog. The female dog is more attuned and more ready to submit, right? They're more ready to submit and do what they're supposed to do for you. But in the hunting dog world, we end up having this collision of butting heads because the male dogs perform a lot better than the female dogs. So we always get a male dog. Majority of people, I'm not sure, right? I have a female hunting dog right now, but the majority of people go with a male to hunt because they perform better. But automatically off rip, just the dynamic between human and dog, we're butting heads and we're setting ourselves up to always have a challenge, to always have a hill to climb, always have something to overcome, unless we have a really submissive male dog. But it's just all up in the air, guys. And this has got to be a kind of a long video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to get down there, hit that like and subscribe, and keep them treed, y'all.